They say family is blood, but I learned that family is who shows up when life's worst truths are unveiled. Thank you for supporting our channel. Please don't forget to subscribe for more interesting stories. The kettle whistled as I flipped pancakes for my sons, Ethan 12 and Liam 9. They were laughing about who would get the biggest pancake, syrup already dripping down their fingers. I remember smiling as Ethan said, "Dad, you're the best." It was one of those moments that felt like forever. Then Ethan's face changed. "Dad," he whispered, clutching his stomach, "it really hurts. I thought it was just a cramp." But then he collapsed, shaking, a cry tearing from his lips. I scooped him up, yelling for Liam to grab his shoes. The world shrank to the sound of Ethan's ragged breathing in the backseat as I sped to the hospital. The emergency room smelled like antiseptic and fear. Ethan was pale, clutching my hand so hard I felt his nails dig into my skin. "Dad, don't leave me. I'm not going anywhere," I promised, praying I could keep that promise. The doctor, a young man with tired eyes, checked him quickly and looked at me. "His appendix has ruptured. We need emergency surgery, and he may need a transfusion." "Take mine," I said immediately. They led me into a small, cold room. A nurse handed me a clipboard. "Consent for blood draw, sir." I signed, rolled up my sleeve, and watched the blood fill the vial, my mind screaming, "Let this be enough." "I'm O positive," I said. "Is that okay? We'll cross-match it and confirm compatibility." She replied, placing a comforting hand on my shoulder before leaving. I sat there alone, the cold chair pressing against my back. My world narrowed to the hope that my blood would save my son. Minutes felt like hours. I paced, gripping the edge of the plastic chair so hard my knuckles turned white. I thought about the first time Ethan called me Dad, the way he hugged me when I taught him to ride his bike, how he would curl up on my chest during thunderstorms. The nurse returned, her face neutral but her eyes uncertain. "Mr. Collins, could we talk privately?" My chest tightened. "Your blood type isn't compatible with Ethan's," she said gently. "We ran the cross-match twice to confirm." "That's not possible," I said, my voice shaking. "I'm O positive." She looked down at the clipboard. "Ethan is OB negative, sir. This is incompatible." I stared at her, unable to process it. "There must be a mistake." She hesitated. "We recommend a paternity DNA test to confirm. Sometimes, rare genetic anomalies can cause discrepancies, but we need to understand why there's a mismatch." They took a swab from my mouth, brushing against my cheek. I felt like I was outside my body, watching as the nurse labeled the vial, sealing it in a bag. "Results will take a few hours," she said softly. I nodded, unable to speak. Ethan was in surgery, his small body under anesthesia, fighting for his life, while I sat there questioning mine. The doctor entered the family room, a manila folder in his hands. He didn't sit, didn't smile. "Mr. Collins, I'm very sorry. The DNA results confirm you are not Ethan's biological father." The room spun. "No," I whispered. I remembered Ethan's first cry, his first steps, his first day at school, the way he would run into my arms shouting, "Daddy." And now, not his. I called Jenna, my wife, who was at a conference in Atlanta. "Is Ethan okay?" she asked, panic in her voice. "He's alive," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "But Jenna, the hospital did a test. I'm not a match for a transfusion. They ran a DNA test." Silence. "Jenna," I said, my voice rising, "he's not my son. Is there something you need to tell me?" She hung up. Jenna returned that night, her eyes swollen from crying. We sat in the kitchen, the same place we had once planned our future, laughing over cheap wine. Now it felt like a courtroom. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't say anything. It was a mistake," she sobbed. "It was just once." "With who?" "Kyle," she whispered, "our neighbor. I thought it was a mistake that would go away." "Liam," I said, looking at my youngest, who was building Legos. He looked up smiling. "Want to help, Dad?" I nodded, forcing a smile. I couldn't rest until I knew. I demanded a DNA test for Liam. The wait was torture. The results came back. Not a match. I fell to my knees in the bathroom, vomiting, shaking, tears streaming down my face. Two boys. The two lights of my life. Not mine. The betrayal ripped me apart in places I didn't know could hurt. Kyle, the man who helped fix our fence. who came over for barbecues, who held my sons when they were babies. I saw his face in Liam's dimples, Ethan's eyes. How had I not seen it before? Jenna was on her knees, begging. I didn't mean for this to happen. Please don't leave. You're their father, you've always been. I looked at her, seeing a stranger in the woman I had loved for 15 years. I need time, I whispered. I packed a bag, taking a few clothes and my toothbrush. I looked at Ethan and Liam as they slept, unaware that the world was cracking. Daddy loves you, I whispered, kissing their foreheads. I left. The weeks that followed were a blur. Jenna filed for divorce. I didn't contest. The house was sold. Jenna moved to a smaller place. The boys stayed with her, the courts ruling in her favor since I was not biologically their father. I saw them on weekends. They ran to me screaming, "Dad," when they saw me. We went to the park, played soccer, ate ice cream. But at night when I dropped them off, Liam would cry, "Why can't you stay, Daddy?" I had no words. One day, Ethan overheard a fight between Jenna and me. "Dad, what does it mean that I'm not yours?" he asked, tears streaming. My heart shattered. "It means that I didn't help make you, but I have loved you every single day since you were born." Kyle contacted Jenna. He wanted to meet the boys. They met him in a park. Ethan was curious, asking questions. Liam clung to Jenna, scared. I wasn't there. I didn't want to be. Ethan started to change. He grew quiet, distant. He fought with Jenna. He blamed her. He blamed me. That night, Jenna's call shattered the fragile peace of my evening. "Michael, he's gone," she screamed over the phone, panic cracking her voice. "Ethan ran away and I can't find him." I dropped everything and drove around town, headlights cutting through the darkness, fear clawing at my chest. I found Ethan near the old train tracks, curled up, clutching a half-empty bottle of pills, tears streaking his dirt-smudged face. "Ethan," I yelled, stumbling toward him. He looked up, eyes hollow. "Dad, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't want to feel like this." I dropped to my knees, pulling him into my arms, sobbing into his hair. "You're my son, you're Ethan. I don't care about blood. I care about you, kiddo. Please don't leave me." He cried, clutching me like he was drowning, his small body shaking as I whispered, "We're going to get through this, together." The hospital admitted Ethan for observation, and for the first time, I saw the depth of his pain. He lay in the hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, refusing to speak. The psychiatrist recommended family therapy. Our first session was tense, the room filled with unsaid words. Ethan sat, arms crossed, avoiding Jenna's gaze. Liam clung to me, scared to let go. Jenna tried to speak, but her voice cracked. "Ethan, I'm sorry." He flinched, his eyes cold. "Sorry doesn't fix it." We sat in silence until the therapist asked Ethan what he needed. He looked at me, eyes brimming. "I just want things to go back to how they were." I swallowed hard, knowing we could never go back. But I promised, "We will find a new way together." Kyle tried to enter the boys' lives, showing up at therapy and dropping off gifts, soccer balls, video games, even a puppy once. But the boys barely knew him. Liam hid behind me, whispering, "Dad, I don't want to go with him." Ethan was conflicted, anger flashing across his face. "Why now? Why is he trying now when you've always been here, Dad?" Kyle stood awkwardly, wanting to connect but not knowing how. I watched, torn between pity for him and anger that his mistakes had destroyed the stability of my children's world. It was a rainy Saturday when Ethan handed me a folded piece of paper. His hands were shaking. "Dad, can you read this when you're alone?" I waited until bedtime, sitting on the couch, the rain tapping against the window, before I opened it. "Dad, I know I've been angry. I know you're not my real dad by blood. But to me, you're the only dad I have ever known. You're the one who held me when I had nightmares, who taught me to throw a football, who never missed a single game or school event. I'm sorry for everything. I love you. Please don't stop being my dad." Filing for joint custody wasn't easy. I remember the look on Jenna's face when she received the papers. Her eyes were red from crying, her hands trembling as she clutched the envelope. "I can't believe you're doing this," she whispered. "I have to," I replied quietly, "for the boys." The legal process dragged on for months, each court date a battlefield of tense silences and whispered arguments. Jenna's lawyer tried to argue that I had no biological ties, that the boys needed stability. My lawyer countered that stability was me, the only father they'd ever known. The hardest day was when the court appointed a child advocate to interview Ethan and Liam separately. I sat outside the small room, my heart pounding as I watched them disappear behind the door. Liam came out first, his eyes red, clinging to me as he whispered, "Did I say the right thing, Dad?" I hugged him tightly. "You said what was in your heart. Buddy, that's all that matters." Ethan came out next, his face unreadable. He avoided my gaze, walking past me silently. My heart sank, fear creeping in like a cold draft. Later that night, I found him sitting in the backyard, staring at the stars. "Ethan," I said, kneeling beside him. He didn't look at me, his voice barely a whisper. "What if I made the wrong choice?" "There's no wrong choice," I said gently, "only what's true." He turned to me, tears streaming down his face. "I told them I wanted to live with you. Dad, I'm scared Mom will hate me." I pulled him into my arms, rocking him gently as he sobbed, the weight of adulthood crashing into his small shoulders far too soon. When the judge ruled in my favor for joint custody, I felt relief and guilt tangled together in my chest. Moving the boys into my small townhouse felt surreal. Their laughter filled the empty spaces. Their clothes cluttered the laundry room. Their shoes lined the entryway, mismatched and messy, and I loved every bit of it. But the adjustment wasn't smooth. Ethan started acting out, slamming doors when I asked him to do homework, snapping at Liam over the smallest things. One night, I found him sitting on the roof outside his window, staring into the dark. "Ethan," I called softly, "come inside, please." He looked at me, anger and pain in his eyes. "Why does everything have to be so messed up, Dad?" I climbed out beside him, the cold air biting at my skin. "Life isn't fair, buddy, but we still get to choose who we become, even when everything feels wrong." He sighed, leaning his head on my shoulder. "I don't want to be mad anymore." "I know," I whispered, kissing the top of his head, "and you don't have to carry it alone." Meanwhile, Liam became clingy, refusing to sleep in his own bed. I would find him sneaking into my room at midnight, curling up beside me, small arms wrapped around my waist. "Are you going to leave too, Daddy?" he would ask, eyes wide in the dark. "No, Liam," I would whisper back, pulling him close, "I'm not going anywhere." And every morning, I meant it. Forgiveness didn't come in one big wave. It came in small, painful drops. Co-parenting with Jenna meant weekly exchanges, school meetings, and holidays negotiated like treaties. Every time I saw her, the memory of the betrayal stung, but the boys' smiles reminded me to swallow the bitterness. One day, after a school recital, Jenna approached me while the boys were in the car, arguing over who sang louder. "Michael," she said, her voice shaking, "thank you for not taking them away from me." I looked at her, exhaustion in both our eyes. "They need both of us. This isn't about you or me anymore." She started crying, covering her face with her hands. For a moment, I saw the woman I fell in love with all those years ago. Before the lies, before the heartbreak. "Can you ever forgive me?" she asked. I paused, looking at the boys through the car window, laughing together. "Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting," I said quietly, "but I'm trying." She nodded, wiping her tears, and for the first time in a long time, we stood together as parents, not enemies. Ethan's graduation day felt like a victory after a long, brutal war. As I helped him adjust his tie, I saw flashes of the little boy who once held my hand crossing the street, the boy who hid behind me during thunderstorms, the boy who once asked if I was his real dad. "Dad," he said, pulling me into a hug, "thank you for everything." I hugged him back, holding on a moment longer before letting go. The auditorium was packed, the air buzzing with excitement. When Ethan's name was called, I stood clapping my throat tight as I watched him walk across the stage, tall and confident. As he reached the podium for his speech, he scanned the crowd, his eyes finding mine. He smiled. "I want to thank my dad," he said, his voice steady, "for showing me what it means to be a father, for loving me even when things were hard, for choosing me every day, even when he didn't have to." I felt tears stream down my face, unashamed, as the room erupted in applause. Liam leaned into me, whispering, "That's you, Dad." And for the first time in a long time, I felt whole. After Ethan left for college, the house felt emptier. Liam, now a teenager, spent more time in his room, music blasting, the smell of his cheap cologne lingering in the hallway. Sometimes, late at night, I would stand outside his door, listening to him hum along to songs, the same way he used to sing with me during car rides. On weekends, we would go fishing, just the two of us, the silence between us comfortable, broken only by the splash of the water and the occasional laugh, when we'd both reach for the last sandwich. "Dad," he said once, reeling in a small fish, "do you ever wish things were different?" I paused, watching the sun dip below the trees, the sky painted in oranges and purples. "Sometimes," I admitted, "but then I remember that if things were different, I might not have you and Ethan the way I do now." He nodded, a small smile on his face. "I'm glad you're my dad." I ruffled his hair. "Me too, kiddo. Family, I learned, isn't about blood or DNA. It's about scraped knees and bandaged elbows, about late-night talks and early-morning breakfasts, about showing up even when your heart is shattered. It's about the laughter during board games, the tears during hard conversations, the hugs that say you're safe when words fail. It's about the small moments, the way Liam still yells 'Dad' when he scores a goal, the way Ethan calls me first when he's overwhelmed at college, the way they both lean into me during family movie nights when they visit, heads resting on my shoulders like they did when they were small. Family is about choosing to love, again and again, even when it hurts. The day the truth came home, I thought I had lost everything, but sitting on the porch now, coffee in hand, the morning sun warming my face, I realized that truth didn't destroy me. It refined me. It taught me that love is a choice, a commitment you make even when it's hard, even when it's not returned in the way you hoped. Ethan and Liam weren't mine by blood, but they were mine by every scraped knee I kissed better, every bedtime story I read, every game I cheered at, every tear I wiped away. They were mine in every way that mattered. As Liam steps onto the porch, his phone in one hand, his eyes lighting up when he sees me, I smile. "Dad, Ethan's on video call. He wants to say hi." I take the phone, seeing Ethan's face, his dorm room in the background, his smile the same one I saw when he was 6 and lost his first tooth. "Hey, Dad," he says. "I just wanted to tell you I got the internship." I grin, pride swelling in my chest. "I'm so proud of you, son." And as the two boys laugh together, joking about who Mom is spoiling more this week, I realize the truth didn't take my family away. It made it stronger, because at the end of the day, it wasn't blood that made us a family. It was love. It was forgiveness. It was choice. And that choice I would make again and again. Forever.